Good afternoon, viewers. Carolina Autos here, Eric Sill. Today we're going to be putting an intake on the Veloster Turbo. It just came in the mail, so let's get it opened up and talk a little bit about it, tell you what you're going to need if you're watching this to install one yourself, and talk a little bit about BTR, Blood Type Racing, who I bought it from.
Here we go.
Okay, so I ordered the Injen short ram intake for the new Veloster Turbo. This should be finished in black and have a red filter, I believe. We'll see when we get it open. First off though, I ordered it from Blood Type Racing, the BTR shop online. Just type in BTR or Blood Type Racing into Google and it'll get you where you need to go. They've got all kinds of intakes and performance parts, you know, suspension, brakes, you name it. Tunes, they do custom tunes for all types of turbo vehicles. Hyundai's included, obviously. The Veloster Turbo is one of their featured models. So if you haven't been online to check them out, and you've got kind of a tuner car or a turbo car, kind of 4-cylinder turbo car, they do a lot of stuff for that. So like a Genesis or Veloster Turbo. I believe they also do the Focus and ST and RS. So just get online and check them out when you have time. But let's get this thing open and see what we're working with here. Always use a Gerber knife. Looks like this intake has been maybe purchased before me, but should be okay. Some packaging. Nothing to see there. Nothing to see there. Nothing to see there. Okay, and here is the intake. See the Injen logo on there. Everything looks good to go. Got a clamp. So it should be a 3-inch pipe and a slight reduction. The turbo inlet manifold that actually bolts up to the turbo itself is a little bit smaller than 3 inches outside diameter, so that looks about right. I'm hoping we can get away with leaving the bottom half of the airbox on, but with this mount point here, I'm going to assume that we're going to have to take the whole airbox out. Not too big of a problem, just want to keep it on there. And I didn't order the full cold air intake because, well, A, it was $50 more and I'm a little petty and cheap like that, and B, it only moved it down an extra 6 to 8 inches. Not all that necessary as far as I'm concerned. I'd rather spend my money on an intercooler, which is probably going to come up too, especially if we get a tune on the car. So good filter. I guess it's an actual Injen brand. I don't know if anybody can see that. Injen brand filter. So let's get all this stuff out here and see if we can get this thing installed. Okay guys, so some of you may be watching this video and asking yourself, you know, why would I want to put an intake on my Veloster Turbo or my Forte SX Turbo? So the reason that I am putting the intake on is actually not for power, although it might add a few extra horsepower once we get a tune. But the main thing is, so the car is stock right now, and here's a second gear pull. And you can kind of hear the turbo going, but the engine noise and probably on camera the noise of just the air rushing into the car, because I got the windows down, it's probably louder than the intake noise or the bypass valve, and I don't like that. I like people to know that I have a turbo car, and I like the sound of it myself. So we'll do another video of this kind of same route here right after I get the intake installed. Okay, so actual installation, first step is going to be to get this engine cover off and out of the way. Probably not 100% necessary, but we'll pop it off anyway, and these things just pop out. There's some rubber grommets that it just pops right into. Once you got it loose, just set it to the side. That'll open up things a lot more, especially the PCV and the bypass and all going into the intake here. So to get this original intake off, we'll want to unscrew that screw, loosen that up, undo these clips here on the air box. There's 2 of those, and then we'll want to get some pliers for these clamps here. And I think we're gonna need probably, I'm gonna guess, a 10mm to release the whole air box from its mount there. So we'll go run inside and get the tools, bring the intake out, and get this thing done. Okay, you're gonna try to do this with one hand here. Should be able to. So first we're gonna loosen off these 2 screws. Try not to lose our bit. That would suck. And yes, I am using a pair of carbon fiber Alpine Stars motorcycle gloves. Don't judge me. Alright, so to get the airbox off, like I said, we released those 2 clips earlier. You're just going to kind of pull up and to the right, and it'll pop right out. I'll set that out of the way. Let's take this old air filter out. If we can get a hold of it. Alright, I'm going to get the pipe itself off. We can get a hold of this clamp. Just move that out of the way. Okay, I'm going to have to put the camera down for part of this, but we'll get as far as we can here. Loosen that off. Okay, all this stuff should twist off. I'll just have to use both hands. Okay, got the intake hose itself off. See it there on the ground. The hoses weren't anything major to get off. Just, you know, they've been on there for 18,000 miles, getting hot and cold and expanding, contracting. So they took a little negotiation to get off without tearing them. But just be gentle with them, and they will pop out. So you can see the problem with the factory air box is this tiny little intake down in there, and that's all the air this thing has been managing to get through. Okay, so we are going to have to remove the air box here, so what we'll do is undo this 10mm bolt. Should not be anything crazy major. Once you loosen it off, it'll just turn by hand. I'm being attacked by some type of yellow jacket out here. Okay, so there was one bolt that I missed. Hopefully you can see it down in there. This is at the front of the airbox. So we'll see if we can get this loose real quick. Okay, so this is the most secure airbox ever manufactured. There's another bolt right here next to the second tab. So just to refresh, one bolt next to the battery, one bolt way down in there below the first tab, and one bolt below the second tab. Okay, got the air box out. You'll end up leaving the inlet that goes down into the fender well there. Actually, it's looking like the Okay, everybody, I'm gonna have to apologize. My phone started cutting out on me in that last clip, so I went ahead and finished up the intake. Only thing that we missed were right here, these two holes you see right here was where the top of the plastic intake, the original plastic intake, came up, and it said turbo across the top. There's two little push pins. You're gonna push those in, and then it just pops right off the bottom. And you can see down in there where the air box came off of the other end of the intake duct, and then we just resecured the PCV and the bypass, and the engine intake comes with a coupling, like a reducer. It's about an 1/8 inch difference between the engine and the turbo manifold there. So it screwed in, everything went together real nice. And engine also included a little rubber mount you can see down there, and an extra 10mm bolt, so it's very, very secure. I can't actually move it. So we'll get some sound here in just a bit, and so you guys can hear the difference. But I'm happy with it as far as I'm concerned. $200 well spent. And once we get the tune, should open up a little extra horsepower. Okay, so the intake is now installed. Should be able to tell quite a difference in sound here. Love that sound. Sounds awesome. Do a little second gear pull here. Fun. Don't want to be too crazy in a neighborhood, but I am happy with the sound, so that's what matters. So I apologize for the audio and the video right there in the middle of that clip. My Google Pixel that I've been recording with just decided that it didn't want to do video anymore. So I went today and picked up a Pixel 2. So new phone for the vlog, and it's a lot nicer. I think the microphone sounds better. The audio sounds, it's actually full stereo audio. The quality, I don't know if you can tell just by this video here, I'm actually shooting on the new one. The audio quality, the video quality seems to be quite a bit better, so it should be exciting news for the channel. And I went ahead and got the intake on and everything. Sorry that we missed a little bit of the install instructions. I tried to kind of cover up as best I could, but anyway, really appreciate you guys watching and sticking through it if you've made it this far. And just keep liking, keep leaving feedback, and we'll keep the cameras rolling. Thanks, everyone.